Now I'm getting hungry. Oh, I'm gonna put this right. Okay.
And Laura was eating a bowl of frosted mini wheats.
Oh, I love frosted mini wheats. I just wish they were minier.
Yeah, I know. Well, we got the little bitty bite-sized ones, the little bitty ones.
Yeah, but they could still use them being smaller.
Yeah, true. Not the way I eat them, though. I put them like 2 or 3 at a time in my mouth.
I can't.
It's sick. It's sickening. So, yeah. There's never have a life about that.
Not healthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's what she was eating this morning.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds delicious. That's one of the cereals that I miss. I miss it like the most.
Yeah.
It was so good.
It's, yeah.
Oh.
Well, I can't eat it either if it matters.
You can't eat it either?
Nah, not on Jenny. Jenny says no.
Oh, dang it, Jenny.
Damn it, Jenny. She says no to Jenny beer and Jenny wings. She said no to all of it.
Yeah. My gluten allergy says no. Don't you do that. Josh!
Stop it.
All right. So we're in some moods today. So this should be
I like that boombox already starting. Yeah.
We'll have to talk about that because I think that's really good. And what you said about it, it's all good. So I'm Angie.
I'm Michelle.
We're Blue Heavens. And we channel ancient and divine beings from 2 councils of thought. Lazarus is the divine council, and Lucian is a council focusing on our shadows within the illusion. These beings teach us how to be better people, leading to better lives. We hope to teach you how to live your best life. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So today we were going to wrap up is the veil the ego with personal experiences with the veil. And then we're going to head into the middle way, which is that we've been kind of hitting around at this type of teaching anyway. So it'd be the 8-point path in Buddhism. So we're excited to get into all that too. And my stomach's already growling. I'm hungry. I should have eaten something. Oh no.
It's going to be talking to the live.
Maybe here's some me. That's good stuff. So why don't we start with reading today's, right? Since it's 2/22/2022 and it's a Tuesday, it's very two-y. So let's see what he had to say about it. Okay. So it starts with a quote from the Buddha. This life of separateness may be compared to a dream, a phantasm, a bubble, a shadow, a drop of dew, a flash of lightning. Oh, I love that. Life runs out so soon. In our teens and 20s, even our 30s, we have ample margin to play with the toys life has to offer. But we should find out soon how fleeting they are, for the tides of time can ebb away before we know it. As we grow older and our family and friends begin to pass away, we see how relentlessly time is pursuing all of us. There is no time to quarrel, no time to feel resentful or estranged. There is no time to waste on the pursuit of selfish pleasures that are over almost before they begin. All devouring time follows us always, closer than our shadow. As long as I live only for myself, as a little fragment apart from the whole, I cannot escape being a victim of time. It is good to bear in mind how evanescent life is so that we do not postpone the practice of meditation.
Oh, I love that.
Me too. Time. Yep.
And deals with time. Yeah. And there was a lightning storm last night, and there was a flash of lightning. Weird when you said that, it was right by the window. And it was so weird. Dave says, "What did it strike?" Because it like shook the whole house.
Yeah.
But I told him, I said, I bet it's going to have something to do with the live or today.
That's cool.
And then you had that. So I had the Passion Bible, the New Testament. So I just asked God randomly, Mother, Father, God. I asked, what is it today? Would we like the viewers to know, what our teaching's going to be about? Whoever's going to be listening to it today or whenever they do listen to it. So this message will be valid for whenever.
Yep.
And that. And I pulled up, it was 2 Peter 1. and it's under prophecy. And so we have been given the prophetic word, the written message of the prophets, made more reliable and fully validated by the confirming voice of God on the Mount of Transfiguration, and you will continue to do well if you stay focused on it. For this prophetic message is like a piercing light shining in a gloomy place until the dawning of a new day, when the morning star rises in your hearts. You must understand this at the outset. Interpretation of scriptural prophecy requires the Holy Spirit, for it does not originate from someone's own imagination. No true prophecy comes from human initiative, but is inspired by the moving of the Holy Spirit upon those who spoke the message that came from God. And that was today's.
And that's perfect.
Absolutely, of course.
Yeah. Right. When God has a message to give, Holy Spirit is the messenger.
Exactly.
So I guess that brings us to the veil.
Absolutely.
I think it does. So we were going to discuss an experience we've had with this veil. So mine stems back from 2007 at the birth of my first daughter, Elliot. I had an experience that day, and I didn't understand why until later, because I've been thinking that it was a near-death experience because it sounded like one, but I didn't almost die giving birth, but it was the energy with a new birth. I found that all that energy is there. It's the same as a death. So I went somewhere else and I felt like I was gone forever. And they showed me what my life was going to be like and the changes that were going to be made after the birth of this daughter. And they told me Ellie would have cancer and that she would be a survivor of it and she would help other people bring awareness to this. They showed me meeting Scott. They showed when our video of where we have Azra come forth on the 12/12/2021, they showed me a clip of us in Mom and Dad's basement where I say, we're in Mom and Dad's basement. I remember them showing me that clip and it didn't look like Mom and Dad's basement. And I was like, that's not their basement. Like, you guys are crazy. So they were trying to show me that we were going to be messengers for God, that we were going to have videos of teaching people these things. And Ellie's cancer stuff was going to be some of these boulders, right, on my journey to help us get there. And I remember as soon as I was coming back into the body after I had been gone for forever, they said I wouldn't remember any of it. And I laughed at them thinking, there's no way you can take me across the universe and show me all of this life-changing things and I'm not going to remember it. Like, you are crazy. And they were laughing as I was being put back into my body. And I came out, I woke up and I went to tell everybody what had just happened. And as I went to speak, I could say nothing. It all crumbled. It all left. I just had this remembering that something amazing had just happened. And they've only come back in pieces as I've experienced it. Like when we called Azra out of the cave, I had goosebumps in that moment and it felt familiar. It was like a deja vu moment for me. And every time I watch it, I feel it again. They showed me that. They showed me part of my wedding. They showed me all these things, but I forgot about it. The veil is real. You do forget, and you forget on purpose, because if I had remembered all those things, they wouldn't have been so special. I mean, they were hard. Some of these things were so hard, like Ellie having cancer. But if I would have remembered that, it would have really changed my experience. I don't know if I'd be who I was. I think I had to be smushed and molded and put through the fire to be better, to handle the stuff that God wants us to handle, to deliver these messages.
Well, they're telling me right now, and since we're not doing the channeling just yet, and if I am speaking like this, remember, I'm in the middle for people watching.
Right.
I'm in the middle of channel, the vibration's ready for channeling. I got to be able to switch.
Yeah.
So if I'm talking like that, there's a reason for that. But they're saying that was a confirmation from God to show you miracles. We would be doing this and we would have to have proof for the human mind that it is possible, that he's possible. Because at that time, you came in as your life lesson as an atheist. You came in for the experience, and
Yeah.
now you're humanitarian. But it's always been a humanitarian, but it was walking back to God,
Yeah.
and he was trying to show you that. So that's what I'm hearing. Locatus and the divine. That's what they're saying,
Right.
to show miracles.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what I felt like when I was coming back, like, oh, we need to tell everybody now. And it wasn't time. It wasn't time for me to have any of those memories. It just wasn't time. Divine timing is real.
It absolutely. So my experience, I was racking my mind for one, and I had my car wreck and when I was under anesthesia, but I don't remember anything. I don't remember it to that detail.
Okay.
It was so like, it was so, I mean, I was there, but I
Right.
couldn't grasp anything.
Yeah.
I know I saw Azra. I mean, I know I saw him, but I couldn't go into clear detail. I know he said his name. I know I saw my ex-husband. I saw the friend that comes to mom and dad's all the time, and I saw Dave. And I meant, but I don't in detail. And I knew there was going to have some difficulty, but I didn't know the things. So I meditated this morning. I asked the divine. So, and this came up, and I thought I just talk about this because this was to me one of the weirdest. And I kind of knew then we were channeling. We had in contact with very special beings. I went into like meditations at around the Renaissance Festival, and I was getting kind of visions, and I was getting like, it was a meditation called astral travel. Okay. And this guy, remember, I didn't know nothing about Norse mythology. I did not study Norse mythology. I know nothing about the Rainbow Bridge. I knew nothing about none of this. I mean, everybody talked about it. It was not like I was hearing conversation. I was working. I didn't have time to listen. I was working, but the dreams were happening there. But it was like always at the Rainbow Bridge, because I'd be going like through a rainbow, and then I'm seeing huge golden pillars being gorgeous. And then I'm going somewhere. It's like I go through somewhere red, and I have to walk through this red. I have to walk through this red phoenix. I told you about this.
Yes.
And I had to go through this red phoenix.
Yeah.
And I see these beautiful green eyes. Beautiful, the most beautiful green eyes I've ever seen. And I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
And I'd have to walk through the green eyes. I'd go through the green eyes, I'd see a blue ring. And it's like this. It's like a mirror. So I'd go and look at the blue ring. But when I did, I'd be poured. It's like a mirror looking, as I get smaller and smaller, like Alice in Wonderland. I'd be looking and I'd be pulling the hair. Then I'm in yellow. And then I'm sitting in like a creek, like having birth. And somebody, I know he loves me, whoever this is, loves me, is holding me. And I'm getting in the middle of having birth in this creek. And I fall backwards. And then when I fall backwards, I'm in a brown forest. And I have several trees to choose from, but I don't know which tree to choose from. And it always stopped right there. So then I would always be told to go backwards. So I'd fall back into the brown, go to the yellow, and go and like that. Huh. So I was like, okay, and then I'd end up by the red. And then I would be, they said, you're done. I topple back like this, this rainbow area. It was weird, but I knew I was safe. I knew I wasn't falling. It was weird. Huh. Like, okay. So then Loki was introduced. Green eyes. He's got a blue sapphire he wears. And I would show like, so they would show me oftentimes too, like Jesus. I would ask, when they talk about the marriage, how does it mean to love? I don't understand that. And he always gave me this vision too, which was the weird vision. So he'd be sitting at the end of a beautiful church. I mean, gorgeous church. Could be past life. I don't know. I cannot confirm that. And there's a guy, a beautiful man looking at me, but I look like awful. Dirt on my face. It's like, better hair days here. But he didn't look at me any less. And he said, it's never about the way you look. That's just a human in you. I don't see that in you. I've always loved it's just you. Like he loves you just as you. Will you ever remember this? Ever remember that? And it was like trying to teach that it doesn't matter. This is all in here in your head, an illusion. That love's not an illusion. What I felt was never an illusion. I'd see a woman in peach, and she dresses in peach, and she's got a beautiful bun like that. She's got beautiful blue eyes, and Loki's always behind her. Never really know who she was. Freya. That's Freya. And she's been with us forever, me and you. And now she's with the girl. She's with Trevor now, and gives great advice. And she's but she's at feminine, and she's always in pink. Loki's in green. But this was before we knew anything about that. And I don't understand her, because she does speak. I don't understand him. He does speak his, but our brain just interprets it out English. But yeah, he's still speaking his language.
Right.
And that's one thing we will say. They are speak their language. It's just coming out of so people understand what they're saying.
Right.
But that was mine. And that's one Loki. And then I got a Morgan Le Fay book. And what was one of her protection spells? Going into collars. And it was the same sequence of collars he gave, which connected him to Morgan Le Fay and Merlin.
Yeah.
Which gave to life all these other aspects of Azra, which was amazing. So it's connected all of that. It connected Locaeus. It connected, and it was that was my experience. That's the one I could remember the most, because that was the one that brought me forth. That was the one where it was like, this is not fake. Because me and you had that. You were both like, we know nothing about these Norse mythologies, but yet telling us in his way.
Yeah.
So that was mine. So yeah, they do tell you. You just have to listen.
Yeah.
They will tell you.
So if anybody's watching this, have you had any of these kind of experiences with the veil? And some of these are near-death experiences. Some you can have just during deep meditation, the birth of a baby, because the energy is high. There's a lot of situations that these experiences can come through. I'd be interested to see who else has them. We watched, was it Josh Gates did ayahuasca in one of his episodes, and he came back, and when he came back, it messed him up. And he talked about how he felt like he was gone for a really long time, and that helped bring back that part of it too for me. And sometimes hearing other people's stories, it will bring more of that to me. And you can't make that stuff up. I mean, it was so powerful. And Michelle and I, we weren't close when they were showing me these videos of us teaching stuff. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, we weren't even close. What are you talking about? It didn't fit the illusion I was currently in, but it so fits this reality that I live.
And this don't surprise me how you we weren't close as sisters. People see us now and think this was always our relationship. Something told me all my life we would get it right. I just didn't know when that was going to be. And I was always connected to Sylvia Brown.
Yeah.
And as soon as I would hear her, I would be like, I know some within that message with her. I was like, I know me and Angie will get, we will. And then when we started, I got a push to go to this place called Enchanted Moments. I heard it 3 times and it was weird. So I go, I have to check this place out. And that's where I met Miss Sarah. And I told her about the 3 times. And that's when she said in front of the kids, when you hear it 3 times, she said, this was divine. And she said, you're probably divine to meet me. That's where I met Wendy. I met, and I told her about everything with us. And now she told me, she said, well, I'll be your temporary sister to help prepare you. But she's going to come back to you. She will come back. She says, Michelle, I feel in my heart she'll come back to you. And it's kind of like she prepared me. Like she would message me. She didn't try to be my sister. She just would help me out, And when we did meet, me and you just started our relationship is because I had Wendy helping me understand, okay, this is how to be a sister.
Yeah. And
she said one of her dreams was to see us together. And we had one last class where you got to see her and me. Yeah. And she said to me after the class, she hugged me and she said, everything I've ever needed, I've seen. And she said, I'm so happy for you. You've got your sister back. My role in your life is done. And I took it, not literally, but I'm like, she's like, you think in your human mind, she's going to be here forever.
Right.
It's been several years ago tomorrow.
Yeah.
And her birthday's Sunday.
Wow.
And you talked about that. And she's been talking to me. She's been telling me, she said, it will be led up to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did want to give her a shout out. She's always with us. Wendy's always here with us, and she's very happy. I see her all the time. And she called me, and it was weird. She kept calling me her princess. She says, "You're my princess." And Dave gets me fragrant jewels, which is a bath bomb, and you get a ring. What ring would I have gotten? I got a princess ring.
Oh, that's funny.
So she made.
I was thinking about her yesterday of so one of our first readings, we met with one of her, it's like her daughter. It's not her daughter,
Yes.
it's like her daughter. And
Yes.
channeled Wendy. And I heard some of the things that she was saying because I hadn't really seen someone else come through you like that. It was so weird. But
Yeah.
you and I were teasing beforehand that of singing the SOS song from ABBA. Like if we needed to cheer someone up, we could sing this SOS song. I don't remember why, but she was like, this better be a good reading because you don't want to hear them singing. And they were planning on singing a song. And it's like, she's dissing me inside my sister's body that's messed up on like at least 12 levels.
But it helped Katie out. It really, her daughter, I should have just, that was her.
Out too, to be able to say what she needed to say.
It helped them both out. And she's always with her. I mean, she's always with her. I only see her when I ask to see her.
Yeah.
And I can't let her channel only because it's too deep. Yeah. It hurts my heart. It's like when I channel, we'll go more into it in other lives. When we channel, see, it's like I see them.
Yep.
It's like that lady hawk. And if you've ever seen that visual of lady hawk, they'd see each other like this, and then they pass through, and they only see each other for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's hard. So I hide my tears in front of other people. But when I am passing like Locaeus, I literally, it hurts me because it's like, no, come back. Right. It hurts. So it would be I can't. It's more of my choice not to, only because it hurts too bad emotionally. So, but I love her dearly, and she's always around talking to the kids, and I don't see her very much because she says she's like what Cosmos said. She's more of a reminder of that death. So that's what she brings. Laura will say that too. She froze.
So we had our live earlier, right?
And that was
either of our weird little accents. And I had the volume down, and it said, "The Lord was eating a bowl of broccoli mini wheat." Oh, I love it. And apparently it says, "Oh, I love mini weed."
Yeah, well, that's the next one right after that. Because I go, what?
The Lord was eating a bowl of frosted mini weed.
Frosted mini weed. That's good. That's hilarious. It was hilarious.
We're pretty easily entertained, though.
We are, actually.
So there's that also.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, and the panicked Michelle. That was not even a joke. I'm sitting there, and Locaeus and you're sitting there going, "Oh, he's getting a channel through." And he goes, "You're up, Michelle." Oh my God.
My power went out, and then it came back, and it went out, and then it's like, well, it's not coming back. And I looked down at my phone where I try to look to see if anybody's on and if they have any questions. And I just saw your face panicked, and it's like, oh, I've got to tell her. So I texted, my electricity's out, and then I thought, I don't think you read any of that stuff, so I'm going to call her. You were like, I already exited out of it. You handled yourself pretty decent.
It was like, oh, I can't keep calm here. Just sang a song, but nope.
Yeah. So, well, I guess let's start. I'm Angie.
I'm Michelle.
Her sisters are we're Blue
Heavens. Clever we are.
Blue Heavens. And we're sisters who channel ancient and divine beings from 2 councils of thought. Lazarus is a divine counsel, and Lucian is a counsel focusing on our shadows within the illusion. These beings teach us to be better people, leading to better lives, and we hope to teach you how to live your best life. After I did all that, I've been thinking, well, started yesterday, if a good explanation of you is a boombox, right? You're like a boombox. We can turn you to Loki or turn you to Locaeus, and it attunes that frequency to the boombox. And when we want to talk to Michelle, we're like, turn it to Michelle. They're all in there, just like your radio. You're like a radio. Yeah.
Watching the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and he's carrying around his boombox. And it's like, yep. So to me and Angie. I guess I'm the one at the boombox, and you're just the kind of which frequency should we have Michelle at? Like, well, you might see the thing is when it's turn though, see, you're going to the frequency too, though. Yeah. You're just staying here, and I'm just kind of off, like, la.
Michelle has left the building.
She's gone. Love boat. She's so real. We don't know. She comes back when she hears her name. Oh, okay. So.
Okay. We've got a question real quick. So I guess before we talk about the middle path, let's check the question out from Mandy. Having a rough time, hoping maybe you can channel some positive energy to help me out of this funk. Things are not going good at all right now. This is the worst mental spiral I've had in quite some time. And unfortunately, everybody seems to be running for the hills because they've had enough of my crap. But I can't seem to be able to break the cycles and cut the crap, even though I want it so badly. I hate losing friends, and I especially hate losing them when I know that I'm why they left. I was too much to handle, or I was too toxic, or too needy, or too clingy, or this, that, or the other. And I'm just like, I'm trying to break the habits, but it seems like I get up and then I fall right back into it.
Well, I'm going to get Locaeus real fast, and then we can go back.
Okay.
Or one of them will come through. I don't know which dial. I don't know which one. This is Loki.
Okay, perfect.
I feel like better to address this one for Mandy. Your vibration is jumping up, and you're going through a spiritual awakening. It feels like all your friends are dropping by the wayside, and you're the problem. You're not the problem. You're getting your shit together. You know you're getting your shit together. And you're making choices based on what you want. You're finally not letting people tell you what to do. You're making your own decisions. So if your friends are dropping and they're saying it's because of you, it's not because of you, it's your vibrations going up. These girls have been through this funk. I walked in this funk, but here I am. I'm the biggest badass of all of these beings, and they won't even deal with a sick body. I will come out. I have been through so much, and I can relate to Mandy. And she's one of my heroes because of everything that she's been through, and everything she's achieved has been on her own. So I want her to think of the good things that she's accomplished. Let's not focus on all the bad. And I know the mental state and everything. She knows best what she needs. Then you focus on what you need. Ask for the divine Mother and Father God. You got two. You got Mother Asna. You ask for Asna. She's the one that is the nurturer. You got God, the Father. So who's usually the more nurturing? It's going to be the mother. So let's ask the mother for this assistance. And she is going to help and give you answers. But see, you're already getting these answers. So this is just your dark night of the soul, as they say. And if these people are turning away, then a new group is your soul family is going to start coming around. You being here is no coincidence at all. So understand you are one of the biggest badasses I know, Mandy. Come on. I mean, I am proud of you. And so let's focus on what you have done. Let's focus on the good of what you have done. And look at that. And what do you want? It all starts with the inner to come to the outer. So Angela, and you've been through these patches too as well, Angela, because they're telling me to quiet down and hand it over to here. Because Mandy, I'm gonna tell you, she understands. Angela understands.
Yeah, I I lost a lot of friends when I started to get my shit together, and it was my fault, right? Because I'm different. I was different, but we all make mistakes, and being too toxic and too needy, I think we all learn these behaviors, and then we all have to unlearn these behaviors, and it
Mhm.
takes time and it takes persistence. You are going to do real good for a while, and then you're going to suck and you're going to get lazy, and then it's going to force you to see, oh, I shouldn't have been lazy, that's right, I need to keep up with this, and then you'll get back and do it again. That's just the spiritual path. You got to keep getting up and doing it again. You're going to fall, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to lose people, but everything you end up with is for your highest good. It's what was meant to be. It's what God wanted you to have before you got in the way, started creating your own disasters, your own tornadoes, and the path of what he's trying to give you. Your tornadoes are settling down, it's coming. It's coming to you. Just persevere and be patient.
Mhm.
It'll happen. Does
Absolutely.
that feel good, Mandy? Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, please let us know if that does, because we do want to help her out and that. So
Yeah, and then we can start getting into the middle way or the middle path. So we talk about extremes and balance a lot. So the middle path is really us walking balanced. Like Lokeia said the other day, it would be walking the path of humility, always being humble. So let's look at a passage from the Bhagavad Gita, Daily Living by Eknath Iswaran, and see. I found a pretty good little summary of the balance that we're talking about here. Let me see if Mandy responds. When pleasant things happen to us, the mind immediately gets agitated and we say, I am pleased, I am happy. We wrongly identify ourselves with this passing wave of mental agitation called pleasure. And because we identify with the wave of pleasure, we cannot help identify with the passing wave of pain also. Yeah.
and this is Marcus. And your body, you got to remember, you can't get attached to this. You cannot get attached to this. This is temporary for you.
Yeah.
So agitate is a good word. I like the description, the agitate, which I love because that's exact same passage that is perfect described.
Yeah, it does.
And that. So it's because you got to remember, when you get too excited, now you're not being humble. Now your mind is going into the things that Jesus has taught us to be humble, but now your mind's over here. But then if you go into chaos, if you're accepting being a victim, you're accepting all of these things. Now you're going this direction and you're not balanced. But either way, your mind, because you can't be too far here and too far. It agitates the mind either way. Either way, it's reminding you you're human. So you got to remember, you are not human. You are here in the spirit, having a human experience. You are not here. It took me a very long time to understand. And Lokeis, I want to bring through, because there is a life he had that we have never mentioned, but we're going to bring him forth.
Okay.
And he's going to help me back and forth with this, because he's going to have some tidbits as well, and more closer to. This is Lokeis. My life, I'm just going to just a quick life deity moment, one of the golden guys. I know we haven't brought that up segment.
You may have it.
Brief. And so I had a life where I understood this. I had my questions and I wanted my answers. I had a life of luxury, but it was, but I didn't understand chaos. I went through a lot of suffering to understand what did suffering mean, but I also wanted to know what it meant to be the most excited you can be. I went on both on purpose. I wanted to feel it both on purpose. The extremes, to tell you how extreme I went into a tribe I'll keep it quiet. I'm not allowed to, even to this day, discuss it. It was a shamanic, that's in the tribe, some kind of poison's injected, and it makes you hallucinate, and you just go off whatever. And I felt like somebody's cutting my head. It was the extreme of the worst, also to the extreme of the best. I got the best visions, but it was also the worst. I found my answers within that. It was terrible. It was one of the worst I went through. I sweated. I thought I almost died. I could have actually. I don't know. But I've gone to the extreme where I did to understand you can't do both. Your body cannot, because you want to stay to this human, and death, you just don't want death now. You want death when you're in the pain, you just don't want anymore. So you don't want that. And when you're on the pleasure, you don't ever want to die. Your point is to be here in the middle. And old age is created so you do go. Because if you get too comfortable, you don't want to go. So he and she, they both got to do things so you leave. And I've discovered that in different lives. I've gone through extremes in my lives just to understand that. So that is really what the Buddha is trying to say. So Krishna and Jesus, that's what they're saying. You have to understand that. Jesus did not go to, they might say, well, the crucifixion was his extreme. That was the extreme. But his best, but if you notice, he didn't do over here. He was always in the middle. He always walked the middle path. He did everything. Right words, right speaking, right meditation. He did everything. And yes, Jesus did meditate. He did yoga. He sat yoga. That was not just from the Buddha or Gandhi. Jesus as well sat that barefoot on a mountain to be closest to his father. So, and it was always like that, or he was like that. But he did. So anybody out there thinking yoga is bad, it is not. Please practice this. So it's not the bad thing to do. He did do this.
And again, all the scriptures of the world talk about how the people are to be scattered and to have their own scriptures of God and their own texts of God. And then we are to come back together and learn from one another. That's in all of them. We're ignorant if we are belittling somebody else's religion because it's not ours. That's not what we're here to do.
Well, you got to remember, teachers come from everywhere. Teachers are here. You're walking with beings. You have, you have the deceased. You have teachers on television, YouTube, teachers out coming from everywhere. And they're to remind you at the right moment. You put these at the right moment to listen to these. It's not coincidence. You might say, but it's all in divine timing. It you as the creator yourself has created. So you will learn from different teachers. And they'll come in the way you really need to be there in the physical sense. We're teachers. We come to you girls as needed. And if one teacher has passed, you can call on that particular teacher. And if they feel that you're humble enough to accept that knowledge, they will come forth and they will help you. Yeah. And however you're needing it, but you need to be respectful. Don't just, but understand teachers come, but you're all scattered to teach different and that, and who makes you. This makes you, and your unique knowledge is going to help somebody else and somebody else. And that's going to make the next generation of people learn that you're the seed. Like right now, you're the seed, and the next generation, they're going to start planting what words were spoken. I feel this is one of the biggest spiritual revolutions right now. And people are learning and everybody's planting a seed in their own beautiful, creative way, however they're choosing to do so.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. So the middle way is avoiding extremes. It's seeking balance, and it's finding common ground. So we can enjoy good things, but we have to enjoy it with moderation. We're allowed to do things, but we have to not do too much. We have to watch the way we handle things. We have to watch our emotions. This is the middle way. We have an allowance here, and we have discipline.
Mm-hmm.
You're disciplined if you're walking the middle path, and your eyes and ears are open if you're on the middle path.
You have to work with a lot when you're on the middle path. You'll work with your emotions to keep your emotions balanced. And no, there is no bad or good emotion. They're all there to just be there. When you're angry, why are you angry? Why are you trying to play a victim? And if you are, go within. And your higher self will always give you that answer. If you just simply ask, you don't have to go to a hypnotic. You don't have to do this, and this, as you hear. You can do these yourself. If you choose to do these things, that's on to do.
Right. And you don't have to come to us and ask us these questions. We want you to learn to do these things.
And we can teach these things. We are going to teach these things. We're going to teach you how to go into a meditative and different ways, because there's so many different ways you can meditate. And everybody can do it in their own way. If you want to do a disciplined meditation or you want to do a non-disciplined, sit, guru, sit, not, it does not matter. Marcus at the beginning, remember, he was trying to teach that. You don't have to sit and do all of this. You can still, if you choose to.
I did that. And he was like,
yes,
humans are stupid. Like, it doesn't even matter what your hand gestures are, you idiots. Like, you don't have to do that. Why do you do that? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I read it somewhere. He's like, well, don't do that unless you like to do that.
Well, that's exactly what it is, because he didn't get why are you doing that, and that's because we've gone to different lives, so we know. Well, he has been his. I have so many lives.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen so many disciplines and not disciplines. I had a life where they cut my stuff off. You know? So because it was against God to have that, I was a eunuch, and understandably, you might, as a human now, go stupid, but then I got kicked out in 2 other lives for not doing that. And I ended up in different bad scenarios. I came back a 3rd time and bound determined. I knew there was something I needed to do. So I made sure whatever this was, and something told me this was it. And I would, because I know I felt like backed away, and I heard, do you want to do this again? I'm like, no, I don't want to do this. But then that's when I lived for 100 years, or I think 300 years. And so everything's in divine timing. And if you feel you haven't learned when you leave, you will come back again, but everybody just wants to get done, and if your life is, hectic and chaotic, there's an imbalance somewhere, and we can help with that. We can look through your chakras. We can look through your aura. We can do these things. Both girls can do that. And we can see, but we can also teach you how to do this yourself if you feel imbalanced, and teach you how as well. Look and see where these are coming, because that's what the Buddha wanted to teach. But it's just right thinking, right path, speak nice, and one thing I would like to add is Sylvia Brown mentioned this. I've been reading her studies, which is fascinating. She did mention it's like love your neighbor as yourself. And she said you should always start with loving you and then love thy neighbor. She said, like, you got love thy neighbor correct, but you didn't learn to love you.
Yeah.
So along with the right path, that when we're in the middle way, let's love us. Let's just love us too. And I can guarantee all the lives I've been through, that would have helped me more than anything had I really, really listened. And the life I didn't have to come back. I was a priest. I was a Catholic priest. I'm not saying that was what. It was just because I gave myself to God. Yeah. And I was humble. So it's just thinking outside, like focusing outward with others, but also you need to focus on loving you as well.
Absolutely. I think that's perfect. So I think Mandy left, but she said she'll just keep going. It's always darkest before the dawn. And then Marianne said, yes, definitely fighting the darkness. Right now, I am walking a thin line between both.
Well, Marianne has, we love Marianne. We say that every time. And she's going to get through this. And that's the same, this is the darkest before it gets light. And she's taken a lot of paths to make sure her light is going. And her light is shining. It's before you can see that light, there's a lot of darkness you have to tread beforehand. Yeah. And she's getting there in her own right. And so she's a very good, she can tune in to what she needs to tune in. And she's got a lot of soul family coming to her corner. So she has a lot of that as well. So she's just seeing who's on her, vibrating, like people like with Mandy, like people are falling aside and coming new into her life. Yeah. And it's hard to see people fall away, but it's actually a good thing. It means that you're going to meet your vibrational match and it actually helps you. And they're going to be your teachers, your friends, confidants, and that too. So, and also if people, that's one thing we all love people that are happy, and they all say, if you're happy, people want to be around you. But if you're sad, nobody wants to be around you. And I think that's sad, because I feel that if somebody is going through a hard time, we need to just listen and then try to help as much as we can. Yeah. Sometimes she feels, not by you and your family, but or friends. It's just sometimes she feels dismissed, like I said, it's not by anybody here, like other people she talks to, friends, and she feels like, well, unless she's in a good mood, nobody's going to talk to her. And, that's wrong thinking. If you're if you're in a bad state, I would encourage talk to somebody, counselor, if anybody. Just make sure you do reach out to somebody and that. But Mandy and Marianne got it going. It's just a spiritual awakening, and they come in different stages, and you don't just have one.
Yeah.
You have very many before and that. And this is a lesson. This is why you came down here. You came down here to experience all that Earth had to offer. So,
yep. All right. So I think we went through everything we needed to go through. So maybe we were supposed to come back to help people.
I feel that's, I told you there was a reason.
Yeah. I've been wondering what the reason was. I think that's what the reason was. So I guess our next Tuesday teaching is going to be March 8th.
Okay.
I don't know if we have any idea what we'll talk about. Maybe we can figure that out.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we'll figure that out tomorrow.
Then we have an Ask Lazarus again this Thursday, the 24th at 7.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. So if you want to come on, if you have questions, or if you want to send us questions ahead of time, again, if you want anonymous or something, just give us a nickname or something, and we'll give you your answers. Thanks for joining us. I think my brain shut down a couple minutes ago. I don't know if yours is still working, but I think mine got turned off a little bit.
Well, this is Marcus. I've come through, and yeah, I can feel the rest of them kind of
Winding down.
So it's all kind of getting calmed down now. So the message has been, so this beautiful message. And maybe before we go, Angela, we can send some love to everybody, since I feel maybe it's 2/22/22. I feel very divine Tuesday. Absolutely. Maybe we can send some love to everybody today for their and help with the manifestations or anything that they may, a healing light for whatever they need. We'll just beam them a spark of love, light, however they need from the Holy Spirit.
My dog shoved something under a couch or something.
I was wondering when you were done. I said, huh?
That's funny.
She's funny.
Yeah. Well, I hope that helped. It helped me.
Yeah, that helped over here. Yeah. It helped calm and that. So we want to make sure everybody's got that. So
perfect. Well, we love y'all. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you at our next day. Bye, Michelle. I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow.
She loves you too, and she'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.